issues to do with the contempt charges against Masengeli can only be equated to Lingala saying makambo ezali minene or makambo ezali burio. Franco sang a song of that word, and it says, if you're translating it, the language that I can see that it is direct translating and you get all the meaning is in Kimaragoli. Because in Kimaragoli, makambo ezali minene is mangana kave manene. When you're translating one language to another, you translate literally, and then there is also the meaning, especially if it is a saying. But you find that in many words, in Kirundi, in Kinyarwanda, in Kikongo, in Lingala, and many other languages, you find that when you're translating into Kimaragoli of Kenya, you find that you don't have to explain a lot. In many cases, the translation just comes automatically. Now let us talk about maneno ya Masengeli kuwa makubwa. Makambo ezali minene means maneno ni makubwa. That is the literally translation. But the actual meaning of makambo ezali minene, it means behind, kuna maneno yamejificha hapo. Usione hivyo tu, kuna mambo hapo. That is the translation. And in English, if you translate it, you may say things are huge, but that is literally translating. But if you want to translate it, if you want to explain the saying, then you go to say that this is the tip of the iceberg. So Masengeli's issue is the tip of the iceberg. And I would want you to take your time and listen to me. I'll try to talk on it holistically. I have talked before in various things, especially matters to do with security, and some people have even gone to accuse me. You see, by profession, by training, I'm an intelligence officer. By profession, by training, I'm an NIS person, special branch. So, what special branch people do, and which I don't think journalists do, or they have never pretended to do, is that whatever you report or whatever you say, you try to put yourself in the shoes of each and every person. I want to put myself in Masengeli's shoes. I want to do whatever. I want to say what was in his mind. But unfortunately, a number of people, especially young ones, the Gen Z, they think that by me trying to explain, I'm siding with Masengeli, or I'm justifying what Masengeli is doing. But in intelligence, what we were trained, I was first trained that in November 1984, is that you present yourself and put yourself in the shoes of that person and explain in written. Now, I do not have those IR forms, intelligence report forms. So my report writing is through this. I also remember one occasion when something happened and I rushed to applaud. And a young man confronted me, said, "Old man, you are wrong here. Why didn't you wait for waters to cool so that you comment? Now you have just rushed and said ABCD, whatever, whatever." he does not understand me, and he does not understand my situation. Like now, it is only 2 hours after when I recorded this thing. It's only 2 hours after the judgment, the forgiving of Masengeli. That is when I talk. I like talking that, because even in that case where the young man castigated me for being rushing to talk, he did not understand me, and this is how it is. For example, I'm going to talk about Masengeli's case. After a week, after a month, after some time, you'll find I've never come across any case where I've been 100% correct. But then when the picture now comes out, I try to compare. I try to compare what I said and what the realities came. That is my nature. I talk immediately it happens, so that when the truth comes, I compare it with my truth. But I know Kenyans. I know Kenyans. One thing, that young man who castigated me, later on the truth came, and out of the 5 points I talked, 4 were correct, which is okay. Even if 2 are correct, it is okay, because I'm doing it where I am seated, and no, I don't have access to government operations now. I only use the estimation of having had that experience. But I know Kenyans. If I say something and it turns out to be 100%, they said, "Hey, did we say he has been paid by Ruto?" You see, Ruto is trying to use him as a. But then, anyway, uh, where I come from, there was an old man who used to say that akitembea anapata maneno, and he was with a good pension, and he said the best way to avoid things is just to stay within my home steady. After all, if I want anything in the trading center, I'll send somebody to go and buy and bring. You know what happened? One day, the tree that he was shading, I mean, within his compound, fell down, and it fell and killed him. So if you avoid the things and by saying that you'll zero grace, maneno itakupata tu hata nyumbani. Now to main story, Masengeli. In life, the best communication is non-communication. Body language. Somebody says body language, isn't it? And the worst communication is spoken communication. You see, if you are to explain yourself, you organize the words to say. And in those cases, if you want to hide anything, you can use that opportunity to hide anything. But body language, such and such a non-verbal communications usually speak louder than communication subjects. We'll start from A. These 3 people were arrested. And if you look at the 3 people, they are associated with maandamano. So, from where I'm seated, I would say that they were arrested not by the National Police Service, no, by the National Intelligence Service. I'm saying so because these people have said that they'll say whatever happened, and they will talk through the LSK president. Now, I was not there. I'm not in a position. So if it proves that I'm wrong, then of course those who say that I'm used by the government to say ABCD, you'll know what to say. But if I am proven right, they'll say, "Oh, you see, that is that." But what I care most is I've spoken my mind. I've spoken my mind. I think the NIS are the ones who arrested these people and placed them among their facilities. You see, when Masengeli was even in court a few hours ago, he said, and even Kanja yesterday, when he left State House and went to take over the office, he was asked about these people. Kanja said that he has been briefed. I've just taken over. I have been briefed by my officers that they are nowhere in any of my holding facilities. You don't get an answer from what somebody has answered you. You get an answer from what somebody has not answered you. He's saying that the three are not under my custody. What is the custody of Kanja? Custody of Kanja is three. One, general duties. What you people call Kenya police, regular police. There's nothing like regular police. The only thing in the police that is called RP is the railway police, railway, where I was born and brought up. Now, railway police is the RP. There is nothing like regular police. They are called general duties. In the military, such people are called general service officer. Those people who do the basic police work, Kenya Police Service. So Kenya Police Service is under him. The Administration Police Service is under him. And the Directorate of Criminal Intelligence Investigation, Directorate of Criminal Investigations is under him. So when Kanja was saying last evening that he can authoritatively say that those people are not in the custody of National Police Service, you know, NIS is not under police service, isn't it? During my time, special branch was. You get it? And that is how it is. These people are based in Kitengela, and you see, during the Mandamano, Kitengela was one of the strongholds for Mandamano. So these fellows were arrested by not NYS, not National Youth Service, but National Intelligence Services. And when Kanja, Masengeli, anybody else says they are not under my police custody and they are not under our custody, you now get it, isn't it? I'm not trying to say that they are under military custody. No. But I'm saying, suppose I'm arrested by military police, supposing. See, Kanja can still say that they are not in any of the police stations. So, but I just mentioned the military for the purpose of a clarification. So these people were arrested by NIS for the purpose of gathering intelligence on who financed, who did whatever, who did the ABCD on issues to do with the three. Now, the National Police Service finds itself in a situation that they cannot explain because they have not arrested the three, and yet their mandate says that, you see, habeas corpus. Habeas corpus is the court orders you to produce that person, either alive or dead. If he's alive, you produce him. If he's dead, you produce his corpse. Now, National Police Service do not know if the person is alive or if he's dead. They don't even know where he is and whatever. And that is how I came to the conclusion that these people were arrested by NIS. We are having these cases where I'm sorry, I have to lazima ni betray my tribe. I think NIS is going back to those bad days. And the way they are doing things, I get the impression that even the Minister for Internal Security may not be fully aware of what is happening or whatever. Or if he's aware, he's just briefed basic knowledge, just being told that these people are assisting us with. And you see, I even have a document I saw. I saw a document that I've seen more than one document. Where the NIS had given an opinion, and when they were told to clarify it, and they said that their mandate ends. Yeah, I remember. There is this case about There is this case about the judges. Some judges were to be sworn in by Uhuru Moigai Kenyatta, and then NIS just wrote and said those people are not fit. And then when the Judicial Service Commission asked them to clarify, they said, our mandate only ends up with telling you something. It does not involve us explaining something. But I have to say here authoritatively that was a lie. That was a lie. Me, JI-TENGE, saying that is a lie. The intelligence are supposed to, you are supposed to advise the department. You are supposed to advise how the decision you are telling him to come up with, he or she has to come up with. And even after telling him or her the decision to come up with, he or her may tell you of the inability to, unajua sasa umemtupa somewhere, how does he entangle himself or herself? The intelligence services are trained and mandated to tell you how to go about it. For example, the Judicial Service Commission had already said that so and so and so and so is going to be a judge. And then the intelligence tells them, no, those people, for the security of the country, they are supposed to whatever. You see, the more overt the situation is, the more the intelligence is supposed to explain a lot to that person. Because it was covert, then there is no even a way of for example, the judges, nobody had said how many judges were there. So if you exclude 2 or 3, it is a bit easier to. But you see, it is already known that so and so would be a judge and so would be a judge. And then you just tell the judicial service, no, reject JI-TENGE, reject Lando, reject James. No. Since it is known, assist that person also to. Usimtupe tu kwa nini deep river, mwambie you'll know how to swim out. No. But if at the time of explaining, at the time of advising that the person should not be, at the time of saying that the person should not be included in the final list of judges, if the list is not, if the list is not open, then you don't have to explain a lot. But if it is open and it's not to everybody, then you assist the appointing authority in coming up with a story that will explain to people so and so. So I've just said that my conclusion is that yes, these people are not even arrested by DCI. No. They were arrested by NIS. And NIS, if you are not careful, you are going back to those bad days. Their bad days. And you should not do so. And why those 3 were arrested was because the intelligence is quite. They were, first of all, they were caught napping. They were called napping, which was bad. And now they are trying to find out who is this person who organizes, nani anaorganize maandamano, who is financing, who is doing whatever. Of course, there are some things, telltale signs that I can find from where I'm seated here. For example, the agency said politicians should not, the politicians should not talk politics in church. But you'll find that during that time, whenever Rigathi Gachagua used to go, he would talk politics in church like nothing happened, like GC had not done whatever. And then there is a lot of communication through telephone, through CCTV and everything, placing a lot of members of staff of Rigaji's place office with the organizers of GNC. I'm saying this, I have no blood in Kalenjin, although Tachon is a Kalenjin, Luhya speaking, this is our trick. But my mother is buried a walking distance from, if you ask Rigiji, pali panaitwa Stage Ngurue, Kayaba Stage Ngurue. That's where my mother is. So I'm of the same village with the Rigiji. But you see, there is that type of investigation and whatever. So the truth of them. And that is what I've always said. If I explain something, some people think that I'm justifying it. No. If I tell you that so and so stole so as to feed his family, yes, to feed his family is justifying that whatever. But you see, mine as an intelligence officer is to give you the fact. The decision is yours. So these people are arrested for matters of whatever. And then come to a situation where uh, I've got a video where I've recorded that we had three inspectors general in 3 months. First of all, Masengeli was just head of border patrol. And you see, border patrol, for police officers, they'll tell you, yule polisi amefanya kazi Northeastern for many years, na yule amefanya Nairobi. Nairobi anakuwaga mjanja, but from Northeastern. And so this is a fellow who has been there. Alafu he found himself within minutes of becoming the DIG, AP, is now the acting IG, and so on and so forth. So you find that Masengeli and others knew what was happening, but you see, Masengeli himself as a professional border patrol person and an AP. Can you underline in capital letter and bold and give it bigger fonts? The AP, being an AP, he had a problem. Police officers will tell you, even current police officers will tell you that from time immemorial, special branch have been doing things that later on you find that general duty, or the way you call it, regular police find themselves explaining things that they know it is special branch, and there's no time a special branch fellow will go and give evidence. So through experience and whatever, the general duty have known how to swim around those things, but APs nitakuja kwa hiyo. APs, you find it will be a bit of a challenge. That is why you find Nani, what is his name? Kanja. Kanja said, I've just assumed the job. I've just assumed the position, but my officers have told me that the three are not in any of the three are in none of the police holding facilities. So you find general duty police officers know how to swim about it, because they'll not say that these people are under NIS. So I think you understand. And then I don't know who advised Masengeli. Also, there was that shyness. Masengeli, you can see from the way he was a few hours ago, the way he was presenting himself in court. Hey, huyo jamaa hajui kesi bwana. Huyo jamaa hajui kesi. I can tell you a recruit from Kiganjo can ange perform better than that one. You see, even simple questions he was being asked, there were some people there trailing him what to say. But the first thing first, I noticed that the first thing I noticed is that I was shocked. Actually, I was shocked. Masengeli had to be led in the swearing in. He had to be led in the swearing in by a court clerk. And let me tell you, any recruit who has completed 3 months in Kiganjo, nowadays they go for 9 months. During our time, and we had recruits who were even illiterates. We were being taught on, they were, if you're a police officer, even a former police officer, you go to court, the court clerk does not lead you into swearing in. You just hold the Bible or the Quran and go ahead. Mimi James Lando Kwatenge naapa kwamba ushahidi nitakaopeana kotini kuhusu majukumu ambayo ninayo ni ukweli kabisa. Kwa hiyo Mwenyezi Mungu nisaidie. Or I James Lando Kwatenge do swear before this court that that the evidence I shall give before this court touching on the matters that are in question shall be the truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God. A whole acting inspector general had to be led sentence by sentence. This one, as I said, you find that a recruit who is a recruit who is 3 months old in Kiganjo crams that off head. It leads me to say that I think we should consider in the future the training of recruits in the four arms of the security. Last month, 2 months ago, yeah, 2 months ago, I was at National Police Service headquarters, the new headquarters, which is within the CBD, and I was telling them that I would have wanted the Kenya prisons to be included in the National Police Service, so that the person who is today called the Commissioner General, he should be called a DIG. We have four DIGs. We have DIG for AP, we have DIG for general duties, we have DIG for DCI, and DIG for prisons. And those people were shocked. They were shocked. Actually, they told me that that is, hiyo ni mapendekezo ya Maraga. You know Maraga's committee. Maraga has said that in the future, the prison service should be part of just like the inspector general should be in charge of the internal security, and the CDF is in charge of Kenya Defense Forces. Why do I want the prison to be placed there? I have seen that, and I want, for example, a police officer, his work or her work is to arrest somebody, take him or her to court. Once that person is convicted, that is the end of that person with the relationship with the police. And then there is the relationship with Kenya prison, whereby you find that a member, a member of prison. There was even somebody who had been in jail, who used to tell me that prison warders would tell convictees that wewe wakati ulikosana na mlalamishi uliniona, hukuniona. Wewe ulipoenda kotini uliniona kotini? Hapana. Wakati ulipelekwa polisi uliniona? Hukuniona. Kotini hukuniona. Si umeletwa tu hapa, nitakunyorosha mpaka suka. So there is I think police officers who are arresting people should even be given time by the time he or she retires to work in one of the prisons. And then the prison officers also work in one of the police stations, so as to understand how the other side of the coin is. And I also want, from what I've seen in Masengeli's days today presenting himself, I would also wish that in future we have an RTS, just like the military. Militaries have RTS in Eldoret, that is Recruit Training School, and they have KMA in Lanet, that is Kenya Military Academy. You find that when you join the military, either at the basic level as a recruit or a middle level as a cadet officer, all these people, you are in class, you're putting on an army uniform. This fellow here is putting on a navy uniform, and this fellow is putting on this one is putting a navy uniform, and this one is putting on an air force uniform. So after the basic, that is when you find that these navy people are now they go to be taught how to be frogmen and so on, and then also applicable to airmen. We should have all recruits from Kenya Police, Administration Police, of course DCI is there, and Kenya prisons attend one school like recruit training center. Then from there, those who will end up as prison warders, they go to prison whatever. They go to prison, the Ruiru prison training school, for a 3 months training that is strictly related to prison work. And those who are going to GSU, they go to Magadi for 3 months for things that are, I think that is, I talked to that at the National Police Service, and I was told I have hacked their communication because I know what has been said. So that is how I was accused of hacking. And then we also need courses. Maybe they'll start with the gazetted officers courses, whereby they take a school like the one in, is it Karen? They want the one in Karen, so that it trains gazetted officers to be people to be gazetted officers. And then maybe take something like GSU training school, be the one for training for inspectorate, so that they train together, an inspector of prison, an inspector of police, and an inspector of AP. They should have that one together. Another thing I noticed that there's somebody, a commissioner of police called, is it Kaduri? Yeah, Kaduri or something like that. He's the provincial police commissioner for APs in Nairobi. And I talked to him, and I've noticed there is a problem that Masengeli, you see, Masengeli is basically an AP, and you are what you are. I think when I was attending inspector's course, I was told that you are what you are. Even when you're walking, you are unconsciously what you are. For example, somebody who used to be a police officer, or somebody from military or something, akitembea tu hivi, sudden you say attention, you'll see him coming to attention before that thing is there. And even tribalism is in you. Everything that you do ABCD, tribally you handle yourself that way. So we also come to tribes in the police services. That is the AP. Masengeli suffered from, I've said before in this recording, that members of the general duty, through experience, through from 1968, they knew how special branch would misbehave, and they would use polite language to, not to disclose the special branch, but also to cover themselves. And that one I've already said. You can see it from when Kanja said that he had inquired throughout and had been informed that they are not in any of, I think I've talked that. But you see, APs kisheria, they don't know and whatever. Then they have this inferiority complex that they only return whenever an attack on one of them is an attack on all of them. They come and surround you. You have seen that. I can remember an incident on Langata Road. There was an incident along Langata Road where an AP was driving while drunk and disorderly, and he was arrested. He was an AP inspector or chief inspector. Anyway, both are inspectors. So he was arrested and placed in Langata police cells. And APs came from east, west, central, and south and north. And they went to the wakabomoa hiyo police cell and wakatoa huyo AP. So they have that. And you see, when Masengeli was now being confronted, here he knew that it is work done by NIS, but he could not talk it. And here he was being challenged, na akaanza kutengeneza tusafari tu uongo kwenda northeastern tusafari tu uongo, so thinking that. But you see, I also faced that problem. Police, GD, or Kenya Police Service, you have a problem, it goes to court, they tell you, we pigania vita yako, ukimaliza rudi. But the APs, there is even a picture, a CCTV of an AP pointing a gun at me. Hapa kuna hii nini, Equity Bank, Equity Bank opposite Precious Blood rerouter. I had reported a corporal, and then a constable is seen on the CCTV pointing a rifle at me. He was pointing a rifle at me. I should withdraw. Yani AP wana hiyo ujinga, hiyo upuzi. But among the police, unateleza, unakwambia we pigana. Even imagine, I could not even go to a town in Nakuru and drink with others. Walikuwa wananiambia wewe ukimaliza kesi yako ndio urudi kwetu. But AP wanasimama na mtu wao. And that is why Masengeli was in an unfamiliar place. Masengeli was in an unfamiliar place. On one hand, acting as a police boss, he's supposed to say hakuna nini, hakuna sina hao watu. On the other way, he thought that the whole police service will come to his whatever, but they turned against him. And then another reason that I saw, huyu jamaa amewahi kotini kweli. I can tell you, you can see, if you go to those YouTube, uangalie when he was in court, he was being asked simple questions. He was being asked simple questions, and imagine last week on a day like this, he was the toppest police officer. Hiyo kizungu ni Kiingereza ama ni Kimombo? He was the toppest police officer, and when he was being asked simple questions in court, he was unable to. And there are 3 or 4 people there trying to whisper things to him. Something like a corporal in GD could not do that. So he was, and I remember, is it Nelson Harvey? Nelson Harvey is the one who brought the attention to the court. He did even, Nelson Harvey did not even recognize one of the lawyers who was there. I was saying, this short man here, you see, Nelson Harvey is asking a question. Masengeli is unable to answer. Then a lawyer, whom Nelson Harvey was calling a short man, was now whispering the answers on what Masengeli. I'm telling you, wherever general duty police officers are, they must have shed tears crying. That he looked so whatever. But lastly, the last 4 minutes I'll spend on saying that what you're seeing is not what is happening. First of all, it was not proper for Masengeli to go there in uniform, in any uniform. Well, I know that the APs and the Kenya prisons do not have a uniform. They do not have a uniform. Their working dress uniform is the Django uniform. They are Django uniform. So APs do not have a uniform. General duties have that blue uniform, and even another one which was brought by Koome recently. So Kenya police have several uniforms, plus even the ones they have. But APs are using jungle uniform. But then it was unfair and it was wrong for Masengeli to go to court while dressed in uniform. Masengeli, the man, had been convicted of 6 months. Now it was Masengeli, the man, to come and do what he did successfully, beg the court to forgive him and whatever and explain. But it was wrong for him to appear in uniform. Police regulations and whatever do say that you appear in court as a witness. Now, suppose you are not working with the investigation arm, the DCI and so on. A police officer appearing in court is supposed to go there in ceremonial number 1. So you either go with ceremonial number 1 or you go there in civilian. And when you go there in ceremonial number 1, you are going there as a police officer. You are the arresting officer. You are the, not investigation officer. Investigation officers are a detective. So this fellow went there with a Django uniform. Django uniform, by the virtue of Django uniform itself, shows that ni uniform ya vita. I don't know why. To me, I read it. When you go there with a uniform ya vita, you who is whatever, that was wrong. He should have gone there in casual. Supposing the magistrate would have not had him and said, okay, you are here, go to jail. He should have gone there in civilians. 2, there were so many police officers within in uniform. I think the only police officers who are supposed to be in uniform in a court of law are only 2 types. 1, the court orderlies. Court orderlies are supposed to be in uniform. And 2, a police officer who has gone there to give evidence to give evidence, and he is supposed to be there in ceremonial number 1. So putting on a uniform, and not just uniform, putting on a battleground uniform, that was bad. And then I've already said about him being in a position, being unable, being unable to respond to things, and it was very pathetic. Viewers, that is my views. And as I said, somebody had once said that ati kitu kimetokea na una rush kuongea. That is my way of handling things. And actually, what I've said here, it may come out either I'm 90% wrong and 10% right, or I'm 10% wrong and 90% right, or here in between. So it is upon the history to come and judge me, so that we see that was my estimation right or not. But when it is right, he said nyinyi watu kunicongratulate mseme mzee unajua ku assess vitu. No, alitumwa na Ruto. But anyway, I've said what I've said. God bless you.